So let's talk about the controversy. There's been some casting rumors for the upcoming Legend of Zelda movie, and apparently Hunter Schafer is being eyed for the role of Princess Zelda. And apparently this has started a conversation, and a lot of bigots have crawled out of their caves to start yapping nonsense. I'm in total support of the casting. I haven't really seen Hunter Schafer act, but just physically, like obviously they look just like Princess Zelda, and I would be really interested to see what they would offer the role. I'd really like to see where their acting chops are at. So all this to say, my commentary on the controversy is I want to see them act, but they look just like Princess Zelda, and I would be very excited to see them, move forward with the role. But I do have opinions on who is my ideal cast for the upcoming Legend of Zelda movie. And so I just want to take this video to articulate who I would choose if I was being as picky as possible, right? So let's get into my ideal cast for Link, Zelda, and Ganondorf. Starting with Zelda, my ideal pick is, drumroll please, Elizabeth Debicki. I think Elizabeth has proven she's an exceptional actress who exudes royalty, in my opinion. Her performances in both Tenet and The Night Manager really impressed me. Everything I've seen her in, to me, is like she is my ideal Princess Zelda. That shows that, like, for both Link and Zelda, I'd really want to prioritize adult actors in their mid-30s or so who have experience acting, who can be mature but still have, the youthful energy that those characters have, right? There is an age range for Link and Zelda, but I think I'd want to prioritize actors in their mid-30s, right? Who have experience, who have range, who can really offer maturity to the characters. For Ganondorf, I think there's a range of directions you could go in. I would really like to see Joaquin Phoenix in the role, if I'm being idealistic about it. My vision for Ganondorf, as he's reflected in the series, I think is as a twist on a messianic figure, right? A king who arises to lead his people into power out of a period of oppression. Someone with prophetic significance. And I think Phoenix could really hold the weight of these messianic convictions, right? Alongside a lust for power and a show of strength, right? He's a committed actor that I know would take the role seriously. And I think that that's something I really want for Ganondorf. I don't want it to just be this cartoon villain, right? This sorcerer, this buff sorcerer or whatever. I don't know. Like, I want it to be a serious role where we understand the significance of the fact that, like, a Gerudo king doesn't rise but every 100 years, right? The fact that it's rare for Ganondorf to rule. And so that as he arises, there's, the Gerudo see him with just a lot of reverence, right? He is like a deity in a form, a deity appearing as a man, right? There's something powerful there, and there would be a lot riding on his shoulders, and I would want to see him bear the responsibility of that, right, alongside his lust for power. For the King of Hyrule, I don't know if this is a hot take or not. I don't know. I feel I have this fear that a lot of Zelda fans are like, get Ian McKellen or something. And I love Ian McKellen. But like, I want to talk about my direction for the King of Hyrule, ideally as a fan. And my pick would be someone like Hugh Laurie. Laurie is a killer actor who I think could really allow his portrayal of the King of Hyrule, I think, to be really nuanced. There can be a vision of hope for Hyrule, I think, balanced along implicit criticisms of the monarchy, right? I'd want Laurie to portray a flawed king who isn't wise enough to keep Hyrule at peace. And I think he could do that with a lot of gravitas, right? And that's what I want out of Hyrule. And I think Zelda is, with its political implications, is so interesting, because as a series, often it is a criticism of how the monarchy is so easily toppled, right? It only takes one man with an army of monsters to topple the kingdom, right? And so I'd want to show that a king of Hyrule is someone who's flawed, right? Who isn't strong enough to keep a hold of the kingdom. And I think Laurie would be a great pick for that, showing a really flawed king. Now for Link, this is the big one, right? This is the big controversial one. I see several potential options and directions you could go in. And to some degree, like, I think the best answer is probably finding an unknown actor that fits the bill more than any other. But, and I hope I'm pronouncing this right, but I think my top pick is Ryanosuke Kamiki. Kamiki was the lead actor in Godzilla Minus One, and his performance in that movie really impressed me. He's very emotive, with an emotional range that really draws you in. And I'm comfortable with Link talking as well, but I think Kamiki would also be a great pick if you wanted to keep Link mute as well. He's that good of an actor. I think it also would be good for Link to be played by a Japanese actor. And I know that in theory, Link's appearance in Ocarina of Time was modeled after Leonardo DiCaprio, allegedly. And someone with the feel of a young Leo could play the part. And I'd love to see, that's an alternate direction that I would still support. But as Link's appearance has continually been, I don't know, I've seen a lot of Japanese influence, right? And I feel like looking at Ocarina of Time, like those models feel more like, feel more anime inspired. And the Zelda series, it's also like it's a Japanese property. And even though the Kingdom of Hyrule is very tied to British iconography, I think it'd be appropriate for Link to be played by a Japanese actor. And I think that Kamiki, it would be a great fit. Based on just who I see Link being, right, personality-wise, and that's what matters to me. And in general, too, like an actor's race doesn't really matter to me, and I do feel very flexible with race and even gender for who takes on these different characters, as long as they're good actors and do justice to what the characters are about, right? Because I think what matters for Link, right, is that he's courageous, right, and that you see someone who is self-sacrificial, right, and who is willing to take on hardship and bear the weight of the kingdom on his shoulders. And that's what's important, right? Is someone who can do that, right? Who can really epitomize heroism to that degree, right? Like that's what's important for Link, and it doesn't really matter who plays him as long as they can embody those qualities. And that's true with all the other characters, right? That's true with Princess Zelda, right? And it helps that the Triforce kind of grounds these characters in their epitomizing qualities, right? Link is epitomized by courage, Princess Zelda epitomized by wisdom, and Ganondorf epitomized by power. And those are things that can help casting as well. The Triforce literally guides the casting in a way. But that's just my take, right? These are my picks for the lead cast, and the movie could go in a lot of directions and include a lot of side characters, but I can't predict who else will show up. I'd love to see Tingle and Beetle appear in the movie, or other important recurring characters like Impa too, but those characters are open to a variety of interpretations, and I really can't predict what route the movie will take. But these are just my thoughts, so comment down below your ideal fan cast for the Zelda movie. I'd love to know what direction you think it should go in. Comment down below what you think about my picks, and I'd love to know, just let me know what you think. But without further ado, I'll let you go.
Now, if you're looking for other ways to support me, as always, you can support me as a creator by becoming a member on Patreon. There you'll get access to all kinds of exclusive behind-the-scenes content like in-progress outlines, scripts, storyboards, rough cuts, and even soundtracks for my newest films. By becoming a member, you'll also be thanked in the credits for any film I finish during your membership. You can also support me by streaming my music. I compose all of the scores for my own short films, and you can listen to those soundtracks on Spotify, Apple Music, or wherever you listen to music. Just look up Joe Kendrick. That's JoeKendrick. Y'all have a wonderful day, and without further ado, I'll let you go.